Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today I have with me the new VISEART Petite Pro palette in Midsummer. And I also purchased the Paris Edit palette, which I had resisted up until this point. Both palettes are made in the United States and they have an expiration date of 36 months. So, you got plenty of time to use it. Both palettes also have the smaller pan size, and like all VISEART palettes, the actual pans do lift out. So there's a little spot here that you can kind of lift up the pan and you can recreate your own palettes. The color names for the shades are written on the box, but honestly, I don't save these outer boxes. So for me, the names are going to be kind of pointless because I'm just really not going to look at them. Now, this Petite Pro palette in Midsummer has this really pretty kind of burgundy package. It's like a soft burgundy shade, and this is 8 grams. It does come with this plastic cover, and I would definitely recommend keeping these because if you don't keep the outer box, you can see that this part here is open to the side of the palette. So if you have any sort of like eyeshadow dust or anything, it could leak out without this plastic covering. There is a mirror in the top part of this, and it is a magnetic closure. These are great for traveling. And again, since you can remove these, mix and match things, you could easily create your own travel palette with exactly the shades you want. So I personally love the Petite Pro size. The Paris Edit is a very similar size. The difference is 1 row of shadows. So the Paris Edit has, again, a mirror here, and this is going to be a softer, it's not quite, it's like a dusty rose. A little bit more peachy though than rosy. And you can see we've got 12 shadows here instead of the 8 in the Petite Pro. So this is 12 grams. And just like the Petite Pro, it does come with the plastic case. I'd recommend, keeping that. I have been playing around with these all week, so I do have 4 looks to show you, 2 with Midsummer and 2 with the Paris Edit. I have the Paris Edit on my eyes right now. And if you're looking to purchase just one of these, my personal recommendation would be the Paris Edit, because obviously with 12 shades, you're getting more variety. And the Edit palettes are $39, whereas the Petite Pro are $30. However, these two work great together. The Midsummer really seems to be more of an addition to the Paris Edit, in my opinion. Let's start off with the Midsummer palette. And VISEART released 2 new palettes, Midsummer and Solstice. I didn't purchase Solstice because it just looked a little bit too warm toned in the initial swatches. I'm kind of thinking of maybe picking it up now because I have seen some reviews where it looks much more neutral, not super peachy. So I'm not sure. I'm still kind of seeing mixed things. But I have to say this was billed as cool neutrals, and to me, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't really consider it cool neutrals. They're all very rosy, and when I think of a neutral shade, yes, you can use like a soft pink as a neutral shade, but when I'm looking for a palette billed as cool neutrals, I'm expecting some more neutral skin-like shades, and these are still a little bit warmer than I would like for a cool neutral palette. Let's go ahead and swatch this. These are the 4 shades on the top row, and these are all matte shades, and they are beautiful. These are the 4 bottom shades. So we have this one here, which is a shimmer, and then we have one with just a touch, it's like matte with a touch of gold sparkle in it. Here's another matte shade, and this one here is a duochrome, and it's kind of hard to get the light to hit it just right, but there's a little bit of a blue, pink, peach. That's what I see with this. Overall, although the palette isn't exactly what I was expecting color-wise, I do really like the palette, but I think you can see from the swatches that while they might be cooler than some things that have been coming out recently, they're still not overly cool. They're really much more neutral on the spectrum. Some shades lean a little cooler, some shades lean a little warmer. So it's not exactly what I was anticipating. However, I do really like it, and you can use these like matte darker shades for kind of like a nice fall look, like a fall like rosy burgundy kind of look. And I do have one to show you. That'll be the second look in this video. And then my first look, I really went with the light, more iridescent shades, and I really like that. This duochrome really makes a nice touch. One thing I'd like to note about these shades in comparison to my other VISEART palettes is that I feel like these are all softer, more subdued looking than I was expecting. So you can see that they're a little bit, they're just not as bright and pigmented as I was expecting, as some of my other VISEART shadows are. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that was actually the goal of this particular look. You're supposed to get this soft summer, you know, rosy kind of look like Midsummer Night's Dream from Shakespeare and so forth. And all of the names of these shadows are from the Midsummer Night's Dream. So we have Puck, Fairy, Potion, Titania, and so forth. So, you know, that was the goal, but just beware, you know, be aware, not beware, but be aware that these are going to be softer shadows than some of the other VISEART palettes that I have. If you're not familiar with the VISEART formula, I really love VISEART shadows. I find them really easy to blend out. They have very good quality, and the wear time on them for me is always excellent. So one thing to note about wear time, when I used them without primer, they lasted a solid 14 hours with no real creasing. I was getting like signs of imminent creasing, but nothing really noticeable. That was a long day. However, I used the Giorgio Armani eye tint in the second look, and I did get some creasing on that one by 8 hours. When using them with the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer, again, they lasted all day, just as they did without any primer. So just something to note there. Moving on to the Paris Edit, let's start with swatches for this one, and I'm going to start with this row. These four shadows are the top row in Edit, and we're gonna go ahead and swatch them right here so we're still able to swatch to Midsummer. This is the middle row. And this is the bottom row. So here's Paris Edit, and you can see that some of these shades are really soft, like Midsummer, but then these here are much darker and more vibrantly pigmented than those in Midsummer. So I do think Midsummer overall is going to be a more subdued look than Paris Edit. Paris Edit, you really have the option of going subdued or more vibrant. Now, some of the things that I really like about the Paris Edit is this inclusion of this blue-gray shade. I think that's great. And I love the metallic shades in here, particularly this pink metallic, I think is gorgeous. Now, there aren't any duochromes in the Paris Edit. I really love the duochrome here in Midsummer. I also really love this gold shade here in Paris Edit. So I think overall, there are no shades here that are dupes. There are some similarities. You can see that these burgundy shades here are similar. However, the Paris Edit's going to be a little bit deeper. This one's actually a little bit more coppery as well. Overall, if you're familiar with the Paris Edit palette, I feel like the top row in the Paris Edit is pretty subdued, very soft shades. And I think that's pretty much what you're getting with the Midsummer. They're all going to have basically about that level of softness. You have a couple shades here that are a little bit deeper, but they're still relatively soft. Paris Edit also includes like these shades here. So this is actually like a metallic burgundy, which I think is a nice touch. It's a little bit more plum than this one, which has a little bit more of a rusty look to it. Then you also have these like coppery shades here, which are really nice. You've got this bright peach. So I feel like there are just more variations in colors and looks that you can do with Paris Edit compared to Midsummer. My thoughts on this Paris Edit palette, I really love this palette, and I can't believe I waited this long to pick it up. I remember when this came out, I was actually waiting up. It was coming out at night, and I was waiting up for it to release because the colors look so beautiful. And then right before they released, I saw some live swatches, and it just looks so warm toned compared to what I was expecting that I ended up passing on it. And you know, then since that point, I've seen some really nice looks with it. Maria Chung on Instagram, she's like obsessed with VISEART and she uses this palette all the time. She's got some beautiful eye looks with it, and that's really what sold me on it. So I ended up picking it up. I'm so glad I got this. I really love this, and I love the inclusion of some of these shades like this slate gray. I think that really makes a really nice addition. If you're going like too rosy or too peachy or too coppery, add this along your lash line or smudge it in somewhere and it just changes your whole look. So I think it's very versatile. I love having this light gold shade here as well. You can use it as a topper, but it also works great as like a highlight shade. This pink metallic is one of my favorites as well. Honestly, I like the formula of all of VISEART shades. The only ones that are not my favorite would be like this shade here is one of those like deep matte shades with a little touch of glitter in it, and there's a very similar one here. It's like a lighter version of that in the Midsummer palette, and for me it just, the little touch of gold glitter does nothing. So I'd rather it just be matte or satin or metallic. In summation, if I had to pick between these two palettes and just purchase one, I would pick a Paris Edit because I think it's a little bit more versatile, and I really love all of the combinations you can get with that. And I personally love shimmery metallic shades, and there are more of them in this palette than there are in Midsummer. However, if you already have the Paris Edit palette and you're looking for some additional shades to kind of incorporate into that, or you're looking for something that's just always a really soft, easy look to do, I think the Midsummer is a great option. So I'm very glad that I have this. I love this duochrome shade over here and this soft pink metallic here. And again, well, it's actually a shimmer shade, but you can see how much softer all of these are. And I think this palette, although it came out during the summer, it's a great springtime look, summer look. And then if you really want to stick more with the matte shades, you can get some nice deeper fall looks for it as well. So I do think both of these palettes are very versatile. I think they go very well together, and I am enjoying both of them. However, I do prefer the slightly more pigmented shades in the Paris Edit over the more subdued look of the Midsummer. But that's just a personal preference. Quality-wise, they are both fantastic. If you are interested, stay tuned. I do have 4 eye looks to show you, 2 from Midsummer, 2 from Paris Edit. I didn't do any looks that I filmed using both of them together, but I think seeing the swatches, you can kind of get an idea of how nicely these would pair together and complement each other. So thank you so much. Sonia G Classic Crease in this shade right here. Same brush in the shade right next to it. Being a little bit more targeted with this shade. Wiping off the brush, going in with the lightest, and I'm gonna put this all over my crease and kind of just blend out a little bit what's there all the way up to the brow bone. Smith 253 in this shade. Smith 253 in this shimmery shade. Adding a little bit more of that shade right to the inner corner. Wiping off the brush, still going in with the Smith 253 in this duochrome shade. I'm gonna put this on the center. I'm actually not seeing that much of it from there, so I'm gonna use my finger. I'm going to spray this with the Evian spray water, and I'm going to see how the brush does in the duochrome with it wet. Definitely picks up plenty of pigment. I'm gonna actually put this all over. All right, I wiped off the brush, but it is still damp. Going back into the shimmery shade to add just a touch more to the inner corner. I'm gonna add a touch of this one to the outer corner. Again, the brush is still a little damp. Back in with the classic crease and just checking all the edges. I'm gonna finish my makeup and then I'll do the under eyes and liner. For the upper lashes, I'm gonna use the Chantecaille eye pencil in Olive Brocade. Taking the Refer 03 and I'm just lightly brushing over that. Then for the lower lashes, I'm gonna go in with this shade and this shade on the inner corner. Wiped off the brush and just running over the lash line with the brush. All right, I'm gonna finish this off with mascara and then I will show you the look from a distance. And this is the final look from a distance. I have on the Armani eye tint in number 8 flannel, and I just rubbed it in as a little bit of a base, going in with the Refer 15 into this second shade here. Sonia G Soft Shader in this matte shade here. Soft Shader in this pink. Just going in with the Refer 15 again and cleaning up the crease area. Just taking the soft shader in this shade here. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this on the middle here. Just where those two shades have met. For liner today, I'm taking the new Chanel in 959 Psyche. Just adding a little bit to the outer corner, and then I'm going to take a smudger brush and brush that out. Using the Sonia G pencil one actually to smudge that. Taking the pencil one into this shade here, smudging this under the lower lash line. And this is the final eye look up close. I'm taking the pencil one in the Suku palette. I'm going into the pink highlight, and I'm just gonna add this to the inner corner of the eye. Just gonna add a little bit under the brow bone. And just going back in with that crease brush to just kind of soften that a bit. And this is the final look from a distance. Refer 01 in the ivory shade. Going up to the brow bone. You can see there's a hint of gold in here. Same brush in the shade next to it. Same brush in this shade here. a little more to the inner portion and into this shade down here. Cleaning off the brush and just kind of using the brush to merge those two colors together. Using the tip of the brush to go into this gray blue. Clean up the brush, going back into this ivory gold shade. And just tapping it on in the center. For the lash line, I'm taking the Givenchy pencil one into this deep shade. Into this shade up here for the lower lash line. Going into the gold for the inner corner. And the brow highlight. And this is the final eye look up close. And this is the final eye look from a distance. I didn't add mascara or do any other makeup. I'm actually just playing around. I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer on my eyes, and I'm going in with the Rapper 15 into this soft pink matte. Taking the Rapper 13 into this matte peach. Back to the Rapper 15, just a touch more of the pink to kind of blend those two together. Chikuhodo KZ07 in the gold. Still KZ7, going into this purple shade. It's a really pretty set in purple. Same brush, sparkly pink. Just kind of tapping over the other shades and blending it all together. This is the look before liner, and I'm really loving this gradient. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup. I'll be back to do the liner. All right, to do the liner, I am taking the Linda Hallberg 333. I'm going back into the Satin Plum shade. Then for the rest of the lower lash line, I'm just going to take this brush and kind of use whatever's left on it. And I'm taking this, I'm going into the gold. I'm going to do the inner part of the lower lash line with this. Going back with the Rapper 15 and just cleaning up anything. Gonna finish my mascara and then I'll show you the look from a distance. All right, and this is the final look from a distance. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you would like to see more looks with either of these palettes or both of them together, please also let me know. And that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already and hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you in my next video. Stay safe and healthy and have a great day.